So hello, it's me, Quasar again with another Gov Macro video, and this will really be my last because I'm either gonna be banned or we will not use we won't need another Gov Macro because we would have solved the issue at hand. I first want to go over some of the statements and questions about Gov Macro. So the first one is from Inspire. He's saying people can use whatever they want as long as it's not actual cheats, and that macros don't really provide any major advantage. And he's also saying that no kind of macro can replace the brain and or actual mechanical skill. And with the last part, I fully agree. No kind of macro can actually replace that. But macros do provide a minor advantage on Cav. And this minor advantage, especially in Bannerlord, can lead to a big advantage. If you're able to take corners quicker, if you're able to manage your speed better, if you're able to position your horse better to make bump couches or bump steps, then these things, these minor advantages will translate into actual big advantages. And I think we should be really careful around that. Another comment from Inspire is that Rabbit Trigger is not a macro, SOCD is, so snap tap, and macros don't add to the skill ceiling, they lower it if anything. So snap tap, what is it again, is when I press A and I press my other button one time, it will remove my input that I was previously doing. So each time I'm pressing D, my A key input gets removed. I'm still holding it, right? So this input literally gets removed. And this is, in that way, it's the same as Cav macro, right? I'm generating inputs and SnapTap is removing inputs. Both of these, these are macros, and that's should or shouldn't be allowed, right? But both of them are macros. That's my point. Then about lowering the skill ceiling, yes, he's very much right. You need real skill, right, to play with the WWSS mechanic, right? You need real knowledge about how to corner with it. But the same holds also true for Cav macro. You need to know how to corner with the Cav macro. You need to still break, right? You need to do the same things, although we're removing the WWSS mechanic. But the skill still remains, I think. But so you can imagine yourself what you want here, right? You can agree, you can disagree. Then a comment from Camby. He's suggesting that Cav macro can accelerate the horse quicker than you normally can, and this is absolutely not true. I'll show a little video where I tested this, and you can see that's exactly the same. If I remember correctly, on the right side, I'm using no Cav macro, so I'm galloping once, only once, and you will see that it will be exactly the same. So on the left side, I'm using Cav macro all the time, and you will see that it doesn't matter if you gallop once, twice, or 3 times. One gallop is enough to accelerate you at the fastest speed possible. So it doesn't matter if you're using Cav macro or galloping normal. You will have the same acceleration, and you will be just as fast. If you see a slight delay, it's probably just my editing because they don't start at the same time. I don't know how to make it exactly like that, but you get my point. You get my point. It's the same. It's the same. He's also saying something about 180 macro. I mean, for some things, I think you can use a macro, right? But for other things, there's no real reason to use a macro for, I think, because you can just do them manually, which is important point, right? There are things where you can make macros for, especially like the show indicator thing, like you want to toggle it instead of hold it, or calf macro or whatever. Things like spamming. There are things which mechanics in the game which can use macros. There are also a lot of things which definitely don't need a macro. I think fainting is also a thing that people brought up. Like I don't think you really can use that in the game. Like okay, I think it's more gonna harm you than that you're gonna really get something from that. But people have different opinions on that, so that's also fine. I want to drop one big bomb, right? Which cat players do, so I need to bomb it. So one thing I haven't told you guys is one key feature of the WOOTING keyboard, which also makes you able to kind of cuff Marco, and that's called dynamic keystrokes. So I will probably put a picture up so you can kind of see what it does, but I'll also explain it, and I'll also put a video in the description so you can make up your mind about it yourself, so you don't get biased by me. With one keystroke, you're able to do multiple keys in one single keystroke, which is, you can kind of see that this is the same concept as cuff macro. And yeah, the problem with these things is there's many ways in which you can do cuff macros. You have WWSS macro. You have this new dynamic keystrokes on the WOOTING keyboard, and you have normal cuff macro which spams your kick button. All these things are well, kind of pretty sneaky because you can't really notice that it's going on, right? You cannot really see that someone is doing it, right? So if I lower my spam rate of my kick button, you won't even notice that I'm doing it, right? So now it's 10 times a second, but manually I can go quicker than it, right? I can go quicker than that. It's not a problem. So if I just put it on 10, you're never gonna know that I'm using cap macro. Same with the dynamic keystrokes, you're never gonna know that someone is using that. Which brings me to my main point, which brings me to the main point of the entire video, right? Is that we had two options to fix our cap macro rule or macro rule, right? You either ban all of them, which is not an option, right? Because you cannot regulate this rule, because you cannot see that people are actually using calf macro. And I think in a way you're just gonna make like a witch hunt for who's the calf macro and who's not the calf macro. Same as with aimbot, and you see how well that always goes. But you cannot really regulate it, so there's no point in making a rule against it. So that brings us to our second option: is just allow macros. I know people are not gonna like that. You can still like say, of course, it's logical that there's gonna be macros probably which are going to be game breaking, right? If you find a macro, these are not the real macros, right? But just an example, if you find something, a weird movement which can double your arrows or something, give you infinite arrows, or make it so your horse suddenly generates its HP. You know, of course, those things you should ban. But things like calf macro, you cannot really regulate that. And this kind of brings me a bit to the rule making process, is of that there needs to be some kind of transparency, right? The only way I figured out there was a rule on calf macro is because I checked the rulebook myself, and suddenly it was there. There was no announcement about it. There's no reasons given. It's just there. And I think there needs to be some transparency, right? If you're making a rule change, you should announce it. Guys, we're making a rule change. Why are we doing this? We're doing it because of this and this and this. and here you go. But right now, there's not a lot of communication. And this is a pretty sensitive topic. So I think there really needs to be some kind of debate on it, right? I don't think just a small group should just make this decision on their own. I think there needs to be some kind of. This is a hard topic, so you really need people to give their opinions about it, I think. And of course, I think we need the rule right now. It kind of favors routing users, right? Because rapid trigger and snap tap, those are the key features of routing keyboards. So that's a little bit weird and it's not very fair, I would say. And that kind of brings me to my outro, right? Kav macro in its own way is a solution for a shit mechanic which nobody likes. I don't think anybody will say to you. I really think the developers did a good job with making how Kev works and with its acceleration and deceleration. I don't think you will find a lot of people who say that it's really well made. So it fixes something which is not very great. And in a way, this Kav macro is also an equalizer. So you're equalizing the things people are using, which is only fair, I think. And you won't have favoritism for the Wooting keyboard. So I hope admin team and community will make their own decision. I hope we can have some more debate around this, right? Because I think the way that the admins are doing it right now is like we need to keep it secret and stuff, and you cannot talk about it. But I don't think really that is the right way to do it, because as I said, you cannot regulate it. Like at least let the community know why these rules are in place, why you make decisions, why certain macros you can use, why certain not. Like give us some reasons, and of course. If anybody asks me, if anybody asks me, Quasar, are you using cuff macro? I'm just gonna say, I have a Wooting keyboard. But yeah, that was about it. I don't have anything more to add. If I'm getting bad, I'm getting bad. It's fine. And I'll see you guys in my next cuff video. A real cuff video, not the micro video.